Welcome to the Shift with Intention podcast. I'm Jamie Zagrafis, your host, and today we have a recurring visitor. Is that what we'll call you?
The number one, remember?
Yes.
I was number one.
She was the number one podcast recording studio, Jill Kneemiller.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jill, to the show.
I'm so glad to be back.
Guys, we're talking about love today because it's Love Week. And so we are going to cover all the aspects of love, what love is, what our definition of love is, and how that shows up in all areas of your life. And we're going to start with Jill. What's your
my definition of love?
Unless you want to ask me.
So, well, I was thinking about this, and so you've heard of the book, The 5 Love Languages.
I have.
And so I really think that love shows up in many different ways in different relationships. And I have taken a lot of time in different relationships that I have to really understand the person and how they love and how they show me love. And I'll give you an example. Like my dad, for example, he was, he wasn't like the loving, huggy, kissy, affirmation kind of guy when I was growing up. But he worked really hard and he provided for our family. And so what I perceived as a child was that my dad didn't love me because I had my girlfriends that I grew up with, that I lived with, or I didn't live with, but I did not live with them, but that I grew up with in my neighborhood, and their dads were more, they were huggy and they were, all this different type of way. And I'm like, oh, their dads love them. My dad doesn't love me. Mm-hmm. And so then I grow up and I learn about this book, The 5 Love Languages. And so I start reading it and I understand there's different ways that people express love and there's different ways that people show love. And my dad is a acts of service love language. Right. And so my dad did an amazing job of providing for my family. And if I need something or one of my kids needs something, my dad will be there in a heartbeat. And so at that moment, I'm like, oh, my dad loves me a lot. He just shows it in a completely different way than what I think love is supposed to look like. So I just think that love shows up in different ways and people express it and show it in so many different ways. And so my mom is more of a physical touch and a hug and that type of person. And my dad's a acts of service type of person. And I'm kind of, I don't want to say in the middle. I'm more like my dad, which my mom doesn't like, but nonetheless.
It's okay. You're not living with mom anymore.
I'm not. Yeah. So, but I'm more of I like physical touch with different specific people, not everybody. I just don't go around hugging.
So don't do this right now.
Touch me. I need to get a sweatshirt that says,
got it.
But there are people in my life that I do like to touch and that I do like to hug me. But I'm not always that comfortable with the words of affirmations, but I am very comfortable with gift giving. Yep. We talked about that earlier tonight at dinner. Yep. I love giving gifts and I'm very good with service work and I love taking care of other people. So if I'm taking care of you or I'm giving you gifts and putting effort in that way, you're going to know that I love you because those are the ways that time. Quality time is another one that I am so if I'm spending time with you, giving you gifts, things like that, then you're going to know that I love you because those are the ways that I show it.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. I like it. So love to me, and just to give you guys a little background, Jill and I decided to grab dinner tonight and in the celebration of Valentine's Day tomorrow and to do a podcast on love. And so we were talking at dinner a little bit, not too much because we don't want to spoil the treat for what we would say on the podcast.
Let me just add, our dinner was very romantic.
It was very nice. Very nice. We went to a very nice place.
It was.
But I can't get past my definition, which I feel like love is a choice. And I say that because it's so easy to love someone when it's easy to love someone. Whether it's your kid, your romantic person, your parents, when everything is great, yeah, it's so easy. The kids are behaving. Oh, I love you. And your mom's not driving you nuts. You're like, oh, I love mom. Or your boyfriend or girlfriend is doing everything right. And you're like, they're so amazing. And then there's the piece that they're not amazing and it's a little harder to love. And that's where the choice comes in that you really need to step in. And there's this thing that I developed. I didn't tell you at dinner. I wrote it down. And it goes like this. When you honor yourself and like the things that you commit to yourself, whether that's a meal plan or, a dry January or a frugal February or a March Madness or whatever it is that you're doing, the more you honor what you said you were going to do, you build self-confidence. Yeah. And that's how you get your confidence. Well, I think that also shows up in how you choose to love somebody. If you honor how you want to love somebody and show up for that person, rather than acting, oh, I'm going to play this game because they played that game and I'm going to go do this because they did that. All this nonsense that we do is just to choose to love somebody. And so that's why I believe that to me, love is a choice.
And I get that. And I totally get that because there have been people in my life that have been difficult to love, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Have you heard that song, Hard to Love?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that song.
Yeah, I do too.
And there have been some people that are difficult to love, but that you love them. And so you put in the effort. And what I find this has been my most recent experience with, the person that I love or one of the people that I love is that, it's not so easy to love all of the time, but because I choose to and because I just do just really I have spent so much time understanding this human being. Yeah. I choose to love this person and I have spent so much time understanding them because I choose to love them and I choose to understand who they are so that I know how to love them, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like if I don't know who you are and I don't understand who you are and how you need to be loved and how you need to be understood, then how am I loving you?
Right. So back to your 5 languages, if you're a gift giver and I'm giving everybody gifts but you and you're going to be like, Jamie doesn't even love me. Right. I mean, I just gave you a gift tonight.
You did.
And if that's the language you speak, it's like me speaking Greek when you want a Caesar salad,
Which we
did tonight. But I mean, you guys, so basically it's like speaking the language of the person you're loving. You can all day long give somebody affirmations and say, God, you look so sexy in that, or you look cute, or I love the way you did your hair. And all they want you to do is touch them
or spend time with them.
Yeah. And so
you're not taking time. So let me tell you this. So I have one of my girlfriends who, so she's very she wants like acts of service and she wants quality time and things like that in her marriage. And so, her husband had gone out one holiday and bought her a vehicle and, she's like, and it was really cool. I mean, it's a really cool vehicle.
What kind of car?
It was a Jeep.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It's very nice.
Thank you.
And she's like, it was really cool. And I enjoyed it. I liked riding in it, and she's like, this is a great gift, but you could have made breakfast and cleaned the kitchen and I would have been so happy with that. You know what I'm saying? $50,000. And yes. And, but when you're not communicating your needs and this is what I need from you. This is how I feel loved from you. When you're not communicating that, then the other person, they're just not getting it. And then you end up getting things that don't serve you because either you're not communicating it or they're not hearing it, one or the other.
And it's really great when you meet somebody that loves the same way you love.
Yeah.
If both your quality time is my number one. If you're not spending time with me.
It's mine too.
So that's why we have our weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Right. So for the first section of love, besides our definition, we're going to have Jill talk a little bit and then I'll talk a little bit about self-love. And Jill, tell everybody how you used to do self-love and how you do it now, because we're going to incorporate a shift in there, guys.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I knew what self-love was such a long time ago. And I don't know that I had really good boundaries. And so I spent a lot of time probably focusing too much on other people and what their needs were and not ever what my needs were. I remember, gosh, when I was married, umpteen years ago to my kid's dad, he gave me money because I was not allowed to have money. So he gave me money one day and he's like, go buy yourself something. Oh, thanks. So, but what I did with that money was went out and bought my kids something. You know what I'm saying? Because that made me happy. And so I came home and he's like, was mad at me because I didn't buy something for myself and I bought something for my kids. And so I don't think I knew how to love myself or how to treat myself or things like that. But, I've been single for quite some time for many years. And
what year were you single?
Well, I mean, I got divorced for the second time in like 2007 and was
the third time.
No, that was the second time.
Ken.
Well, then I married him in 2011.
Yeah.
So, but I was single for like 5 years. Okay. And now I've been single again for 7 years.
Okay. I was just seeing when we will. I'm like 7.5.
Yeah. So, we got married at the same time and divorced at the same time. Right.
We're going to stay.
We're really on the same. That's weird. Okay. Anyway. When I got divorced this last time, I started like doing things like I call them Jill date nights. And so I'll have like a Jill date night and I watch whatever movie I want to watch. And, it's much easier now because my kids are grown and they're never home. So I can do a Jill date night if I want to, a little legit every night. But, but I don't have time for that because I've got other things going on. So, but I will love to just have a Jill date night where I watch whatever movie I want to watch. It could be scary, which I love, or like a rom-com, whatever. It's my choice because it's my date night and I do whatever I want. Paint my nails, eat sushi, Mexican. I do whatever I want to do. And so I love my Jill date nights. So I that's kind of what I started calling them that years ago. But outside of that, outside of just doing those kind of specific things, I do things every single day, routinely, ritualously to take care of myself. I get up every morning and I have all my supplements that I take in the morning. I do affirmations every single day. I always am mindful to say positive things to myself and to think positive things all the time. And it's just anymore because I've been practicing it for so long. It's just really just, it's a habit and it's not something that I really have to like make time for anymore because I just do it naturally. But, I say kind things to myself, which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with is they have that internal dialogue that is not nice, that they've been practicing for a long time that you might not even be aware of. But I've changed my internal dialogue to be so much more kind to myself. So I think that's a part of self-love. And that's the affirmation. I mean, that's the part of when I talk about the 5 love languages is the affirmations is what you say to yourself and how you think about yourself. And I think about myself as so much more than I ever used to and what I deserve. And so you kind of think about yourself, like, how would I, like this person that I love, what would I say to them? How would I talk to them? What do I think about them? What would I say to them? And then you flip that to yourself.
Absolutely.
And so, I used to talk about this when I facilitated women's groups, in a agency that I worked at, they all wanted these relationships. And I'm like, so think about the relationship that you want and all of the qualities that you want to have in this other person. They're loyal and they're faithful and they're financially secure and they're independent and they're family oriented, whatever it is that's of importance to you. Think about what are all of those qualities that you want to have in this other person. And so you list all of that stuff and then you flip it and you look at yourself and you think, and you look, do I have those qualities? am I loyal? Am I faithful? Am I independent? Am I financially secure? Am I all of these things that I'm expecting this other person to have? Do I even have those qualities? And so sometimes I think, how can I expect this person to have this quality if I don't have it myself? If I'm not practicing it, then how can I expect you to have it?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. It goes along that thought, what you see in another, you have in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. The mirror.
Yep. So that's super interesting. So I cannot say exactly what you said, but I am going to stack it, if that's a good word. I was probably super similar. So like when I was married to my kid's dad and we got divorced in 2009, I had not ever had a pedicure until 2009. Yeah. Like what? Like, and now I do it regularly. And, you know, I stopped doing my nails for a short time because of the rehab I'm doing, but it's just, that's just one thing I do every couple weeks. And I think for me before, I didn't have to get money given to me, but I would go to Gymboree. I would go wherever to go buy the girls, whatever that would make me feel good. And I would wear the same Tommy Hilfiger striped shirt. Yes. Every soccer weekend, or the same AFA hoodie, or whatever team we were on.
AFA, yeah. Because we were AFA moms.
Because I was okay with that.
I am too. I still own them, and I still wear them.
And that is not okay anymore. To bed, you probably do. And so, God, self-love has so taken a total turn. And I have no problem doing what I want, when I want, how I want, and however I want. Yeah. And what that means is if I want to go hiking, I'm going to go hiking. And yes, I'm an empty nester, but even when the girls were here, if I want to go buy myself something cute, like go buy myself something cute. If I want to go to a restaurant, and every day I do my workouts. I don't do my meditations every day, but I do have a series that looks slightly different from yours. But that big piece of honoring yourself is such a big part of it. And the thing that I do every day is my thank yous before I put my head's on the pillow. And
the gratitude stuff.
Yeah. Every night it's like saying thank you for.
I do mine in the morning.
Yeah. For saying thank you for those things that, you know, you didn't have 10 years ago, that you didn't even think to thank anybody for.
Right.
And that's big on self-love for me. And you know what the biggest thing is? I used to be go, 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 go. And as I'm a busy girl and I'm go, go, I am okay going to bed now if something's not done.
Yeah.
And before I would be like, no, you got to get this done. You got to do this. I create so much more grace and balance for myself than I used to, which my therapist would be like, that is so much self-love.
Yeah.
And that's a fun thing. So guys, I think that changes as we get older. And I think wisdom is one of the biggest things that we learn how to love ourselves and how that looks to other people. And again, I think it's easy to love us and give us self-love when it's easy. And when you're not feeling good about yourself, or you're mad at yourself, or you wish you would have shown up differently, it's harder to give yourself that self-love. But that's probably when you need it the most.
And I really think too, when we are showing our self-love and we're doing things that make us happy, I really honestly think that it's like that downward spiral, and the people around us see it and they're like, God, you know, because even my kids see, I mean, you know, because I'm not an empty nester like you. I have one left in the house who's almost 19, but she's rarely ever home. So it's really, I'm home alone most of the time. So I'm basically an empty nester, but they see me living my best life. Right. Because they're like, I'm always going out to dinner, or I do whatever, like you said, whatever, I do what I want when I want. There's no one to tell me what I can do, when I can do it, how I can do it, how much money I can spend on it. Nothing, because it's all mine. I make my own money. I do what I want when I want, and, you know, and so my kids see that. And I think that has really, I don't know what they would say, because I've never asked them and no one's ever asked them, but I really want to believe that it's made an impact on them and how they see that I take care of myself. Because honestly, if I wasn't taking care of myself and you weren't taking care of yourself, then it's going to affect our relationships. It's just like the
airplane mask. Put your mask on yourself first before I put it on you.
Right. Because we take such good care because we're so mindful of how we take care of ourselves, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And, we really try to focus on all the different ways to take care of ourselves so that when someone comes to us and they need something, we have something to give. Because we spend so much time and energy making sure that we are giving ourselves what we need to feel good for the most part. And so when someone comes to us and they need something, or not just come to us, but we realize they need something, we have something to give because we are filling our cups. And so when our cups are full, we have something to give back.
We talked about this last time at dinner. I think I have no problem saying no. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, I got to go here. I got to go here. There's a funny meme that says my extroverted self signed up for this when my, my introverted self doesn't want to go. And that's a super real thing. And I'm like, why did I say I would do this? Oh, because you were extroverted that 5 minutes of that day. Yay. And I have no problem now being like, so things changed and I can't do that. And that's the authenticity of to yourself. And now we make commitments, and I think it's nice to honor those commitments to the friends and the people that you love and back to that. But I think you're part of that equation. It's okay to not go to every party or every networking event or whatever it is, or every family gathering. Skip something. And take that time to rest or watch a movie or take a nap or
And I feel like when you have like good quality relationships and friendships, your friends are going to honor that.
Totally.
Because if I say something to one of my friends, like tonight, let's pretend like I just wasn't feeling it tonight. And I've been like, Jamie, I'm just really tired, which I was, but I was looking forward to it. So, if I would have been like, Jamie, I'm really tired. Can we you'd been like, oh, that's fine. You wouldn't, I don't know. I don't really know, but you would have been like, listen, bitch.
I might have been
we're not friends anymore.
We're doing a podcast.
You're going to be here but that's how how the people that I choose to have in my life, that I choose to be there and that I love to have there is because I know that if I'm not feeling, there's no judgment, with my friends, there's like no judgment like that. And so like my youngest daughter, she, for a lot of her life has been a people pleaser. And that's just one of her things that she's dealing with. It is a quality, but it's a quality she's working on. So there was one day and we had been talking about this and we'd been working on it. And she's like, she didn't know how to say no. And so I was testing her one day. And so she was going to go somewhere with a friend. And I said, I was really hoping that you would like stay home with me and spend time with me tonight, and like mom, daughter. And I could see it all spinning. And she's like, could we like do that tomorrow? And I said, did you want to tell me no? Yeah, kind of. And I said, well, why didn't you? I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I said, well, what did you think was going to happen if you told me no? Did you think I wasn't going to love you anymore if you told me no? Well, yeah, kind of. I'm like, okay. So it was just kind of like a test to her to get her to realize it's okay if you say, oh, mom, I already have plans tonight. Can we do that tomorrow night? I already have plans. It's, I said, and the reality is, and the logical part is I'm going to say, that's fine. You have plans with your friends tonight. That's fine. We'll do it tomorrow night or next weekend or whatever. It's not a big deal. But the illogical part of that is you thinking that you're going to say that to me and I'm going to say, well, that's it. I don't love you anymore. I'm no longer your mom and good luck to you.
But that's but that's so,
but that's Sophie what people pleasers think.
And I feel like they do that to the people that they don't feel that, unconditionality, if that's even a word. So if
it's not, you just made it up.
I know. I was just thinking of something while you were talking about that, about the friends. I cannot think of it right now. So I guess we'll circle back to it. But,
I just love to have friendships that are non-judgmental.
Totally. Otherwise it's like, what's the point of the friendship?
Well, I love to have relationships. Oh, I'm just going to say all my relationships in my life, I love to have where I can be my authentic self.
Right.
And, I say dumb things and I do dumb things and I'm just who I am.
We call it playful.
Yes. Yeah, we are very playful. And I just like the people in my life to be like, that's Jill, but with like no judgment, like that's, and I think that same way of my friends, that's who they are. And I love them, whether I agree with something or don't agree with something, or whether that's my personality or it's not, it doesn't matter. It's them. And I love them unconditionally. I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to not be friends with them because of whatever they think or choose or what have you. I don't know. Yeah.
So I was at church this last weekend and the topic was love. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to somebody special after church, and we were having this big conversation of love and what that looks like to them. And their response was, I have a very small circle, and the people in my life, I pour a lot of love into. And so my circle, I don't let a lot of people in. And that person has explained that to me before. And I was like, oh, okay. But it meant so much more this time, because now I've seen that in action. And I'm like, you know what? How much love, if we're love bugs, because we're all going to be love bugs, guys, this week. Yeah. So if you're a love bug, how much love bug honey, whatever it is, how much love bug honey do you have to sprinkle everywhere? Right. You're not like an endless pot of love bug honey. Right. And so who's going to get the honey? Right. And so I'm totally being serious, you guys. Yeah. So you only have so much to give, and back to that cup. And anyway, it just resonated a lot with me, because if you intentionally pour into the 5 to 10 or however many people are in your small circle, and those people always feel loved, I think that's amazing. Well, and I remember what I was going to say. So, okay. So you can touch on that, but let me just tell you, it's about, so we don't forget, loving others more than ourselves. So we're going to circle back to that. Go ahead. Okay. You can respond to my little honey pop.
I'm thinking of the honey and how much we give honey, like how much sugar we give other people. Exactly. I think it depends on the person. Yeah. Because I think we give different amounts of sugar and honey to different people. There are some people in my life that get more
sugar and honey, and mine are just getting honey, I guess.
Right. They get more than others. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's almost like you have a, what do you call it? Like like when you have money, like a
plethora?
No.
An abundance?
I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, you have so much to work with. Yeah. It's like I have like a pound of honey to work with. And so this person's going to get, this much. And, maybe not everyone's going to get the same amount, because it depends on who you are and in my life, and not how much I love you, but it just depends on what your role is and what that plays in my life. And so some people are going to get more than others, but I'm also going to get some of that.
I agree. Take some of your own honey.
I'm going to take some of my own honey, but I'm going to give some to other people, but some people I'm closer with. Right. And so they're going to get more honey than somebody else is going to get. Yeah. Yep.
So in the last week or so, I heard, somebody say, well, sometimes I feel like I care about them more than what happens to them, or I care about them more than what happens to me.
Codependent.
And I was like, I probably used to think that at some point, back in the days where we would buy the kids clothes instead of us or whatever. And I was like, so we always back to honoring, and, not that I think we've all done that at some point, and there's no judgment in that space. It's just make sure that you love yourself enough to be okay loving yourself, to give love to someone else. And so I've learned that, in relationships, you don't need to have someone else fill up your cup all the time. It's nice to have that person in your special person, or sometimes your kids or your friends and all that. But we all know the tools in our toolbox. Hey, I need to go hiking. I need to get a pedicure. I need to call my friend Jill and have dinner. I need to do this because that fills my cup. Yeah. And we are responsible for filling that up. I can't call you and be like, do you want to tell me 24 affirmations real quick?
Tell me a bunch of great things about myself.
Like that's not, but spending energy with each other, we fill each other's cup all night, And so I guess it's something that I think takes a lot of years to learn, to love yourself enough to put yourself first. Right. And it is okay. And it's not even selfish.
It's not. And to know that your value does not depend on what someone else thinks about you, right, and the amount of energy that somebody else puts into you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I know what my value is, regardless of if somebody else sees it. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter, because I know me, and I know that what I bring to the table, and I know what my value is and what I bring to a table. So I know who I am, and I know I'm worthy of love. And well, that's why I give it to myself, because I know I'm worthy of it, and I know that I deserve it. So I do it I always, when it's Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, my birthday, I always treat myself, regardless of who or what. I
treat myself on Father's Day.
Same. Because
of course you do.
Well, because my kids have always called me mad, mom and dad.
Well, my kids would get me a present too, but I'm like, you know what? No one's home right now.
Well, and we've been dad.
Right.
So I also deserve Father's Day. So I treat I'm like, oh, it's another holiday. What should I get myself? I should treat myself to something always. So, like this past week, I've just been treating myself to fresh flowers and nice dinners and lovely wine tastings, and you name it. I have been treating myself because, gosh darn it, I love
people like me.
People like me.
Okay, so to wrap up self-love, guys, here's the scoop. I'm going to give 2 points, and you're going to give 2 points.
Oh,
so think your 2 points. My points are: be okay saying no to something to honor yourself. That's nugget point number 1. And do something for yourself every single day. Whether that's a workout, a meditation, a walk, whatever it is that fills you up a little bit, that makes you feel better than you did, the 20 minutes before that. That is a self-love behavior. So to recap my 2, say no when you don't feel like doing something, and be okay putting yourself in front of someone else. It's okay. They're still going to love you. And number 2, do something for yourself. What are yours 2?
So I think, mine is become more aware of what you need, and whether that's from someone else or yourself, really become more aware. What do I need to do more of to make me happy? And if you're in a relationship with somebody, how do I communicate to this person? Because relationships, whether it's a significant other or a friendship or mother-daughter, whatever the relationship is, communication needs to be had. So, whatever your relationship is, make sure you're communicating to that other person what your needs are. So communicating not only to yourself what your needs are, but to the people in your life, this is what I need from you, and knowing how you need to be loved. So you can, to your best ability, make sure that you're not only giving it to yourself, but that you're communicating it to the people in your life what you need, so that to their best ability, they can give that to you. And I'm not saying that you're going to communicate something to someone and say, this is how I need to be loved, and they're going to immediately start doing that, because it doesn't work that way. But just, the communication over time, hopefully they'll start to understand that this is what this person needs. So that would be one takeaway, is just really getting to know yourself, what you need, and how to provide that to yourself, and how to communicate it to others, what you need. And then, also just knowing how to fill your own cup, knowing what do I enjoy? What can I do for myself today that brings me joy and happiness and makes me feel good about me? Because that's really every day. I'm like, what do I enjoy? What makes me feel good? And not in it's not a selfish way, because if I'm taking care of myself and I'm happy, it just takes care of everybody else. Because if I'm miserable and I'm complaining and I'm all of this, that radiates to everybody. But if I'm taking care of me and I feel good, then that also radiates to everybody in my life as well. So just always knowing, what do I need to do for myself today to take care of me so that I feel good, and go through all of those things. What do I need to do for myself today to feel good physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Like, what do I need to do today in those different areas of my life to feel good and secure and okay? And just making sure that you're touching on all of those areas so that at the end of the day, you feel like I've taken care of myself in all areas that I know how to take care of myself.
Guys, so we love self-love. That's why we talked for 34 minutes on it.
Alrighty.
And so we're going to have a part 2 on romantic love.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to record that in about 2 weeks. Because we're having this.
Is it 2 weeks?
Well, this weekend or that weekend that we've just planned. But just because we don't want to leave you hanging, because it is National Love Day tomorrow. And this is going to drop on the 16th, I assume. So my ask of you guys, if you're hearing this on Thursday or whatever day you're hearing it on, it's going to drop on the 16th. For the whole weekend, do something loving for yourself each day and for someone else each day. And so that doesn't need to look extravagant. It just needs to be a kind gesture or something loving, picking up a pencil, somebody, whatever, holding the door.
Hold the door.
It doesn't matter. Do something loving for someone else and then watch them take it in.
Can I just share something since you said that?
Yep.
Okay. So this was some years ago, and I thought about this the other day so it's just weird that it's all coming back now. So years ago when I worked for a company, every Friday was like a really lax day for me. So every Friday I would go to the QT by my work. I would get like a special coffee and a lottery ticket. That was my routine every Friday. And so this one particular Friday, for whatever reason, I was just feeling really blah and just not feeling good. And so I get to QT and someone opens the door for me and they're like, "Oh, good morning." And they open the door and I'm like, oh, that was nice. So that it gives you that automatic feeling of that was kind. And so I went in, I got my coffee, got my lottery ticket. So I'm walking out of QT and I think someone opened a door for me. And so some gentleman was like, "I love your sweater. It's like a big hug." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." It was such a nice, cozy sweater. And, but by the time, so like it's not that much time. I go into QT, get my coffee, get my lottery ticket. I walk out to my car. We're not talking about a lot of time,
right?
But from the time I left my car and I was feeling ill, and by the time I got back in my car after that whole experience, I felt 100% different. It was just amazing how those couple acts of kindness, holding a door and saying something kind to another person made the rest of my day like my day started over there. It started over and the rest of my day was fantastic. And I love it. So just doing those small things for someone else, because you never know what someone else is going through. And it could be something so small. You think it's so small and trivial. And it really made my entire rest of my day different. Yeah. So I agree with that.
So basically that means go around and be love bugs and go splash some love and sprinkle some love. And in a couple weeks, we're going to talk about romantic love for maybe as long as we talked about self-love. We'll see. All right, guys, happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to click on review. We need some reviews, and tell your friends to follow us at Shift with Intention. Thank you for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me again.
You are welcome. And it was fun. And if you guys didn't notice, we are wearing
Valentine's colors.
Love colors.
Love bug colors.
Love bugs, yes. Go be a love bug. See ya.
Bye.